Welcome back to the news. We start with the Duke Blue Devils. They fell short of a national championship in the 2025-26 season, losing in the Elite Eight to the number 2 UConn Huskies. But the future is bright because Duke has landed 5 commitments in the 2026 recruiting class, headlined by the powerhouse trio of Cam Williams, Daron Rippy Jr., and Joaquim Bount, alongside major transfers like John Blackwell and Drew Charnowski, pushing their expected roster value to a massive $20 million.
Stop using your finger for notes, sketches, and edits. This Jam Jake stylus pen gives your iPad a smoother, more precise writing feel with palm rejection so your hand can rest naturally on the screen. It charges fast, works for hours, and comes with replacement tips. Perfect for school, work, or creative projects. Check the link in the comments to grab it on Amazon.
Next up, we shift gears completely to the financial world with Duke Energy. Is this utility giant still attractive after its strong multi-year share price run? Our dividend discount model analysis suggests the stock might actually be overvalued by nearly 30% based purely on projected dividends, though other metrics suggest it is undervalued, creating a real investment puzzle for everyone watching. But the debate over Duke Energy is heating up in the communities themselves. Forsyth County residents are voicing serious frustrations toward the proposed multi-year rate increases, pushing back hard during a public hearing about the 18% hike for North Carolina customers. Residents are worried these increases will place unsustainable financial burdens on households already struggling with rising costs. And that pushback is getting louder. We have dozens of residents speaking out, like Jeanette Kelly, who stated that steep power bills are forcing neighbors to choose between food and electricity. Duke Energy argues these hikes are necessary for infrastructure upgrades, but the Utilities Commission is now facing a critical decision after these public sessions, and we will keep you updated on the final outcome. Stay with us. Duke Blue Devils are gearing up for a significant overhaul as they prepare for the next college basketball season, aiming to rebuild after falling short of a national championship in the 2025-26 campaign. Following an Elite Eight exit against the number 2 UConn Huskies, the program is facing the departure of key contributors, with forward Cameron Boozer and guard Isaiah Evans both declaring for the 2026 NBA draft. However, head coach John Shayer and his staff have secured substantial reinforcements. Duke has officially landed 5 commitments in the 2026 recruiting class, headlined by 3 5-star players: forward Cam Williams, guard Daron Rippy Jr., and center Joaquim Bount. This group ranks first nationally and is anticipated to yield multiple immediate impact players. Further bolstering the roster are several high-profile transfers, including guard John Blackwell from Wisconsin, forward Drew Charnowski from Belmont, and guard Jacob Theodosiou from Loyola. Combining these new additions with returning talent like Caleb Foster, Patrick Ngongba II, and Dame Sarr, on threes, Pete Nakos reports that Duke's roster is projected to reach a $20 million valuation for the upcoming season. Nakos noted that Duke, traditionally a powerhouse built through high school recruiting, is expected to reach this spending level. While transfer portal activity is significant, with Blackwell projected to earn over $4 million, the program's financial standing allows for this investment, following a $44.8 million revenue generation in the 2024 fiscal year. Other programs like Tennessee, Louisville, and Texas are also expected to hit the $20 million mark. The strategic influx of top recruits and transfers positions the Blue Devils for a competitive resurgence. Duke Energy, DUK, is facing scrutiny regarding its attractiveness following a strong multi-year share price run, with analysis from Simply Wall presenting mixed valuation signals. A dividend discount model, DDM, analysis, utilizing an annual dividend per share of US $4.68, a return on equity of 9.08%, and a payout ratio of 74.72%, estimates an intrinsic value of approximately US $97.15 per share. When compared to the recent share price of US $125.54, this model suggests the stock is approximately 29.2% overvalued, based on its projected dividends and underlying assumptions. Conversely, a price-to-earnings (PE) ratio analysis indicates a different perspective. Duke Energy currently trades at a PE of 19.33x, which is below both the electric utilities industry average of 21.65x and the broader peer group average of 30.84x, suggesting the stock is trading at a discount relative to these benchmarks. Furthermore, a proprietary fair ratio estimate of 24.96x suggests the stock is trading below this calibrated reference level, pointing towards an undervalued status. Investors are encouraged to consider that valuation is subjective and narrative-driven. Analysts using platforms like Simply Walls allow investors to construct personalized narratives based on forecasts for revenue, earnings, and margins, such as focusing on data center demand or regulatory uncertainty, to arrive at differing fair values, with some forecasts suggesting a valuation as high as $139.39. While Duke Energy maintains a proven track record as an average dividend payer, the current valuation debate highlights the complex interplay between dividend sustainability, earnings multiples, and forward-looking business narratives. Forsyth County residents are mounting strong opposition to Duke Energy's proposed multi-year rate increase, voicing significant concerns during a public hearing held at the Forsyth County Courthouse on Wednesday afternoon. The proposal, which calls for an 18% increase in monthly electricity bills for North Carolina customers, outlines a two-stage hike: a 14% increase in 2027, followed by a 4% increase in 2028. This structure translates to a cumulative monthly increase of approximately $23.56 for typical residential customers, starting with about $17.22 in year one. During the public session, over a dozen residents spoke out, emphasizing the financial strain the increase will place on households already contending with rising living costs. William Stewart, a Winston-Salem resident, argued that the utility hike jeopardizes the stability of vulnerable families, recalling personal experiences with energy insecurity. He urged the North Carolina Utilities Commission to intervene and reject the increase. Residents pointed to the broader context of rising utility costs, noting that electric bills across North Carolina have climbed by about 22% since 2020, disproportionately affecting those on fixed incomes. Rory Howard stressed that while North Carolina is growing, new residents must factor in long-term financial planning to avoid undue burdens amid rising costs for groceries and gas. Duke Energy officials defended the request, asserting that the rate adjustments are necessary to fund extensive infrastructure upgrades, including utility pole replacements, wiring expansion, and new substations to meet growing demand. Bill Norton, a Duke Energy spokesperson, stated that the increases reflect the dramatic rise in costs required to maintain reliable service, noting the company has added over 150,000 customers in the last 2 years. Despite the company's justification, attendees continue to push commissioners to reconsider the proposed costs, with many residents arguing that modest increases can severely impact households living paycheck to paycheck. Following this public feedback, the Utilities Commission will proceed to the next phase of the review process, including an expert witness hearing scheduled for early July, before commissioners make their final decision. Residents in Forsyth County have voiced strong opposition to proposed rate hikes by Duke Energy during a recent public hearing at the Forsyth County Courthouse. Dozens of residents spoke out against the proposed increases, citing concerns over the rising cost of essential utilities. Jeanette Kelly, a resident, testified before the North Carolina Utilities Commission, highlighting the strain on households. Kelly argued that steep power bills are forcing neighbors to make difficult choices between necessities like food and electricity. She questioned the timing, stating, "When will enough be enough? Ensuring the availability and reliability of fuel and energy throughout the state is critically important, but not at the expense of basic needs of life." Duke Energy has defended the proposed increases, asserting that the hikes are necessary to fund crucial infrastructure upgrades required to meet growing energy demand. According to Duke, Approval of the request would result in an average residential customer's bill increasing by approximately $17 per month next year and $6 by 2028. The North Carolina Utilities Commission is scheduled to hold another public hearing in Durham before making a final decision on the rate increase request.